Yo, you guys, what's up? This is your girl Dragon. It's time for another live tutorial. This one is coming in from the official Fortnite Creative Discord. We got a request here from VRGZ. Looks like they were trying to make a selective scoring system. So I think this is a really cool mechanic, and I do hope that this tutorial helps them complete their project. And in addition to that, I hope it can, hopefully it can help you complete yours as well. Basically, the whole premises of this selective scoring mechanic, it basically rewards survivors. And if you're eliminated, you don't get points. So if you're surviving, you get points. But if you're eliminated, you don't get points. Real quick, it's really important that if you have a game like this, to ensure that players do not respawn. If they do respawn, they need to respawn outside of your zone area, your game area. You see here I have it marked with the Mutator Zone. This is my active area here. So if they're going to be respawning and waiting for the game to complete, then you want to make sure they respawn outside of the area. That way they do not get points. All right, and then other than that, this is a really cool game. Mechanic for box fights, zone wars, or anything else, even like a pillars type of map. Really cool. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how it works, and then we're going to go through the process, and then I'm going to show you the settings. So let's check it out. All right, so I start right away in my active area. All right, so let's say you've already had your pregame and players are teleported here. They're in the active area. And you can see on the right-hand side, I have my scoring. On the HUD, it says Team 2, Team 1, and so forth. So you can see when players begin to fight, and if there's a player that's eliminated, there's a short delay. And then I'm on Team 2, I get 5 points. And then the person who's eliminated is out the game, and the game continues and the loop continues. So let me go ahead and stop it, and we can see what it looks like from the other side. All right, so we're going to see what it looks like if I'm eliminated instead. And I am out the game, and I should go to spectating, and I can see that the other team member has 5 points. I have 0 points. I'm out the game, and I get to watch everybody else have fun. All right, so let me show you guys how to set this up and explain to you the process. Let's do it. All right, it's a lot simpler than you think. Most important things is, as stated before, you want to ensure that you have infinite spawning set to off, right? So if you do not want your players to respawn, like I do in this tutorial, you want to go straight down to spawning and go to spawn limit and set a spawn limit to 1. That way they won't continue to respawn. If you do want infinite respawning, then make sure they spawn outside of this area. You can do so by using a player checkpoint device. So when they're eliminated, just register them to a device and they'll respawn over here or something like that. Or if you want to implement a separate set of player spawn pads, you can do that as well. So let me go ahead and set this back. All right. Next, when the players spawn in, they're in their game area. This is how the process works. So we have a mutator zone that's enabled on phase none. This mutator zone is not active when the game starts. However, when a player is eliminated, there's an event that's sent to this trigger right here. This trigger has a delay that will allow the player to, when the player gets eliminated, allow them to despawn before awarding the points, right? So there's a short delay, I believe about 1.5 seconds on this. And then when that delay has reached its time, it's going to trigger and it's going to enable this mutator zone. And then all players within the zone is going to be given a score. It's going to activate the score manager, and whoever is within the zone is going to get a score. Now, we need to send an event to turn off the mutator zone. So when that happens, when this triggers and enables this zone, is also going to trigger this second trigger, which is going to disable it after a certain amount of time, and I believe it's 0.75 seconds. And then it's going to disable this mutator zone so the players can continue to play and the loop can continue. So now that you guys know the process, let's go ahead and jump into the settings. And the first thing I'm going to show you is the mutator zone. All right, what's really important is to ensure that it is enabled on phase none. Everything else is personal preference. Now, when coming to functions, we're going to disable when receiving from the second trigger, which is trigger 10 in my case for this tutorial. But we're going to enable when receiving from trigger 9, which is the first trigger to go off for this tutorial. In events, you're going to send an event on players entering zone to the score manager to activate and grant all players within the zone a score. All right, let's check out the triggers. So this first trigger is the one that enables your mutator zone after a delay. And it will activate when a player is eliminated. So you can see the delay here is at 1.5 seconds. And after that time has passed, it's going to transmit and then send a signal to enable the mutator zone. Now this trigger will not send any type of event until it's triggered by the Elimination Manager when a player is eliminated. And then when it is triggered, as stated, it's going to enable the mutator zone and trigger the second trigger to begin the second delay to complete the process. So let's check out trigger number 10. And you can see that delay is at 0.75. If you don't want the VFX or the SFX or sound effects, you can go ahead and turn those off. Again, that's personal preference. For functions, we're going to trigger when receiving from trigger 9 when it is triggered. And then for events, we're going to disable that mutator zone so that the players can continue to play and it won't enable until the next player is eliminated. Now feel free to adjust your delay times, because let's say they're like, there's a lot of people there. You can, definitely take this down to 0. So be sure to find a time that you feel works best for your system. And that goes for both triggers. Next, let's check out the Elimination Manager. Again, this is a live tutorial. Thank you guys for chilling out with me. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below or in Discord. Feel free to ping me anytime. It's cool, and I'll do my best to help. And you can see on Eliminated, we're sending that event to trigger 9 to trigger. And that's the very first trigger in the system right here. All right, now for the Score Manager. All right, it's going to activate when receiving from Mutator Zone when the player entering zone. And that's it. That completes the system. It's very, very super simple. And if you also want to know how to get the score on the HUD, let me show you as well. So to do that, you're going to go to your user interface and HUD info type. And you want to, you see, you have quite a few options here, and just set it to score. And when you do that, you'll see that it will show on the right hand side of your screen below the map. Just like that. All right. Now you have a selective point system, perfect for pillar games or anything else you're trying to do. I do hope this tutorial has helped you, and I hope you guys find it useful. I'll see you guys on the next one, and thanks for all the requests. I appreciate it. Bye!